All right, grade 2, now that you know what a procedure is, which you will of course remember from yesterday's video, to be a step-by-step series of instructions for somebody to follow to achieve a goal, it's time for us to learn the structure of writing a procedure. I'm pretty sure you will have done this in grade prep or grade 1, but this is the structure that we would like you to follow in grade 2. I'm going to give you a quick run through and then I'm going to give you an example. Here we have the poster for writing a procedure. This is very clear and makes it very easy to understand. Even if you are writing a recipe because you are a chef when you are older, you will still use the structure very, very similar to this one. So that's why we are teaching you now to make sure that it's concreted in your brain. Here we have the first step, which is the title. All right, the title, very simply and very easily, is what you are going to do in that procedure. All right, it might be how to brush your teeth. It might be making a piece of toast. It might be how to tie your shoelaces. All right, that is the title. After the title, we have the goal. Now, the goal, it says here, is what the procedure aims to make or produce. So if your procedure is to make a piece of toast for breakfast, the goal will be to make a delicious piece of toast for breakfast. It's just what you want to have by the end of it. The next heading we have is materials or ingredients. If you are cooking, of course, you will need ingredients, but not all procedures involve food, so we use the heading materials as well. That is just the list of things that you will need in order to finish your procedure and create the thing at the end. Next, we have steps in order. And I'm going to put a big square, or rectangle I should say, around steps in order. That word order. It is very, very important that the steps that we write go in exactly the right order that the person needs to follow to achieve the outcome or to achieve the goal. If you accidentally put your steps in the wrong order, it means that it might not work and the person won't get what they needed in the end. They might cut something too early. They might cook something too early. And that will mean that the whole procedure ends up failing. And we don't want that to happen. So we really need to make sure those steps are in order and also that we don't miss anything by mistake. And finally, we have our conclusion. And it says here, a short statement outlining what the final product should be or look like. All right, so that is just simply once they have finished the procedure, it's a reminder of what they should have. So if I go back to what I said before about the piece of toast, the conclusion would be, now you have a delicious piece of toast to enjoy for your breakfast. All right, so this is the structure that we're going to be following, and I will put this up on our remote learning website for you to look at and remind yourself. And in our next little video, I'm going to show you how to write a procedure. What the structure of a procedure looks like, I'm going to show you how you're going to set it out in your book. The first thing you need to know is that when we're doing a procedure, we need it to be as clear as possible. A procedure is not the kind of piece of writing that you just sit down and read. It's usually, well, actually, it's always instructions on how to do something, which means that the person who is reading it is often trying to do the thing at the same time. So we need our writing to be very clear and very concise so that the person can be flicking from reading the instructions to doing the thing back and forth without getting confused. So I'm going to show you how to do that in your book. And the next tip I'm going to give you is that we never put our headings all down first. If we put all the headings down, we might get to the steps and we only have left enough lines for 3 steps. And we realize as we're writing that we actually have 7 steps. And it would be very annoying if you've already written conclusion and you have to rub it out. So instead, we write them one by one. At the top of our page, I like to do a nice fancy heading. If you think about a recipe book or Lego instructions or anything like that, they don't just have the heading written in a regular pen or grey lead. They often do something a little bit fancy. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here. There we go. There is my heading, and I chose brown because my procedure today is on what I just did for my breakfast, which was make toast. So my title is how to make toast. If you would like to make sure that you realise you've done all the steps, you could do this. You could write title next to it. but you don't have to. I like to give my procedure a bit of a fancy heading and put in a bit of effort. How to make toast. All right, that is my procedure. Now, the next thing I need to do is write the goal. Now, you can see I'm using purple for this, but that might be a coloured pencil for you, and then I'm going to use a black or grey lead for you to do the actual writing. The goal here is to make delicious, look at that adjective, toast for brekkie. That is my goal, to make delicious toast for brekkie. All right, now, as I said before, we need to make sure our procedure is as clear as possible. So I'm leaving this line free. That line is left. We don't do any writing on there. And my next heading, you don't need to do that little line, by the way. My next heading is materials. And I'm actually going to put materials / ingredients because my procedure involves both materials and ingredients because I'm cooking. All right, now, again, making it very clear for the person who's following your instructions, our materials go in dot points. Here is dot point 1. I'm going to get my grey lead back. All right, here is dot point 1. The first thing I need to make toast is a toaster. It'll be very hard to make if I don't have a toaster. All right, toaster. My next thing goes on a new dot point. I need bread. New dot point. I need a knife. I also need, new dot point, a plate. And then what I'm going to put on my toast is some butter. And you may have guessed by my title, some Vegemite. All right, there are my materials. You need to think of your materials list kind of like a shopping list. You don't want to be at the shops or buying all your things for dinner and get home and realize you've missed 3 things because they were hard to read. We need to lay them out nice and neat, each one on a new dot point so that the person doesn't forget anything. All right, there's my materials and ingredients done. Again, this line will be left free. Don't draw that little line like I did. Leave that line empty, and I'm going to write here steps. Remember, the important part about the steps was that they needed to be in order. All right, each step, again, to make sure that the person following your instructions doesn't miss anything, start with a number. Each step on a new line with a number. Step 1 for me is put the bread in the toaster. All right, there's step 1. Step 2, again, on a new line. I've just realised I forgot my full stop, silly me. On a new line, step 2, push the lever down. All right, that's to turn the toaster on. Now I'm going to pause the video and finish writing my steps so that you don't have to watch me write all of them. All right, now that my steps are done, you can see I've got 6 steps. I want to show you something else important. I said at the start when I was doing the steps that each step needs to go with a new number on a new line. If you have a look at step 3 and 4 of my procedure, step 3 and 4 took up 2 lines each. They used both of those lines. I could have started step 4 here, but that is very confusing if you are trying to follow all of the steps to be jumbling between the lines. So we do not start a new step on the same line as an old step. Each one gets its own line. You should be able to see all your numbers lined up on the left-hand side like that. None of them should be jumping in the middle of lines. Hope that makes sense. All right, moving on to the last part of the procedure, we have the conclusion. Oopsie daisies. Okay, got a bit excited when I was writing. And the conclusion, remember, is a reminder of what they should have now they're done. Now you have some yummy, oh, I'm going to use 2 adjectives. Look at me go. Crunchy toast for breakfast. Now, the reason I included those two words, yummy and crunchy, were so that the person knows that that's what it should look like. If I had written, now you have some gross soggy toast for breakfast, that would not be very good. So it's a reminder that their toast should be yummy and crunchy once they're done. All right? What I would like you to do now, watch the video that I have posted underneath on the dancing whiteboard marker. What you need to do is watch that video, and then in your remote learning book, write the procedure for that video. You might need to watch the video more than once to make sure you don't forget anything. And once you've done that, if you're lucky enough to have a whiteboard marker at home, you can have a go at doing that. I'm going to put a blank version of what your book should look like when you have set it up for the dancing whiteboard marker experiment, and I hope you enjoy doing that. We can't wait to see your finished procedures on a dancing whiteboard marker.